Hey, we got a win!
Here we go,
got a win!
Yes!
6 and 8. Damn it, we're still out of the playoffs.
Not
6
yet.
and 8. 6 and 8.
Wow,
Yet.
though.
It's not over yet.
I don't know how much this means in the grand scheme of things because Lamar Jackson wasn't playing, but you take them as you can get them. And the Browns' playoff chances nearly doubled. They were 0.4%. Now they're 0.7%.
Although it was 1% going into the day yesterday.
So at 4:30,
Yeah.
it was actually, if you win out, I always do the predictor where you win out.
Okay.
They were a 7% chance to make it if they won out.
Yeah. Now it's 4,
But because of the Raiders game and the Jets game and some things that happened in the afternoon
Right, the Chargers
session,
won.
The Chargers won. That
Yeah.
was what really did it.
Yep.
But now the chances, even if they win out, the chances are only 3%.
Oh, God, 3%.
So
Why are you still watching that?
because I'm a glutton for
Why?
punishment.
So
see
it's
why.
basically 3% is basically like picking a number on the roulette board.
Right.
It
Pretty
put
much.
it all on one
Let it
number on the
ride.
roulette
31, baby.
But here's the thing. Why not?
No.
We understand that there's like 15 games that have to go their way, and it's unlikely. I think we're all realistic how unlikely it is.
Yeah, it's
But
not gonna
until you're
happen.
eliminated, why would you not at least pay attention to it?
It's meaningful football because you still have a chance.
I'm not saying it's not meaningful football. I'm not wasting my time on that.
I don't blame you.
I'm wasting my time on now. How do I get better?
Wasting
Yeah.
your time on watching
Because I'm
them.
not going to the party. So you're not getting the ticket to the party.
You're not going to. We're going to recap the entire Browns victory from Saturday. Which, by the way, when the Browns play on Sunday, they're 3 and 8. Any other day of the week, they're 3 and 0. We'll talk about that. What the hell is
Advanced
that?
analytics at its finest.
I think
You
it's
guys are welcome
random.
for that nugget.
It could be random, but you also could look at it that I think when you look at the Stefanski record against the Bengals, like how do you explain that?
Right.
It's almost like these non-Sunday games are bigger. It's certainly in the mind of the player they're bigger. The players will always tell you they love playing when they have the stage to themselves. And these are all games where they've had the stage to themselves, either Thursday, Monday, or now the Saturday. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to it. We'll talk about that. Tim Couch is going to join the program. He'll be along with us here in about 30 minutes. And we're going to dive into everything that was the Cleveland Browns Saturday game. If there's time, and we're hoping that there is, yesterday, this weekend, may have been the most nutty, crazy,
Insane.
bizarre weekend of football that we've ever seen.
There were like 6 jaw-dropping things that happened.
There were. And
6 games.
chief among them was the Patriots, the way they lost when the game was
Yeah.
certain to go to overtime. And for that to happen to Bill Belichick,
Yeah.
because but let's be clear, Belichick did not call that play.
He's the head coach. It's on him. That's what I've been told.
No, it's not.
That's what I've been told.
No, it's not. When the players freelance, that's on the players. You can coach players to do the right thing in every moment. If they choose to not, that's on the player. And what they did was, I almost heard his aneurysm while I was watching that play. I almost heard it. And I can only imagine what that locker room was like after the game. I can't even imagine.
You know what? It's rare that I feel bad for I don't feel bad for him usually.
No.
But
in that case.
But the guy, Jacoby, who threw the pass, I felt really bad for him. Like, his eyes were red in the locker room. Like, he really was feeling it.
Belichick doing a terrible job.
He knew he screwed up.
And that's, for them and the playoff chase, that's crippling.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, why does he have a defensive coach as his offensive coordinator?
First of all, let me tell you
Because it doesn't matter.
Let me
their
tell you
offense
this.
sucks, so it certainly matters.
Let me
No,
tell you this.
for Bill, it doesn't matter.
That
Yeah.
is slightly egregious.
Slightly?
Like look, we don't have to get it. He got his
Ask Mac
peers-
Jones if he likes
Well,
it.
his
he's
peers-
been a head coach,
I
so
said-
it's not like he's got no
I
experience.
said,
in
Matt
offense.
Patricia dialing up plays now? This is
yeah,
what
right.
we're doing?
Yeah, look at the Lions' offense since Matt Patricia. It's a lot better.
I hope we can get to that.
Wait, Jay, before you go, we need to take 1 second. G. Bush, you wearing a scarf and a beanie.
We're not hearing you again.
We're not hearing you again.
We
guys
can't
can't
hear
hear
you
me?
again.
Oh, really?
2 days in a
So
row.
everybody flip your box to 1.
He said, gee, you're wearing a scarf and a beanie.
Because
Oh, you're
Look at
hearing
one.
him then.
No,
Oh,
I just haven't
but-
Mike, talk
hearing.
again.
Okay.
Mic check. One
there
second.
we go.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear you on one.
I flipped the box G to 1. Jay, if you flip your
I did.
IFB box
I did.
to 1, so we
All
all
right,
have
hold
them
on.
now.
Let me do an IFB check real quick. This is
Okay.
another on-air IFB check.
All
Raise
right.
your hand if you can hear me.
I
No.
cannot hear you now.
No.
I can hear you now.
Yes.
All right, that means IFB 1 line is working. IFB 2 is not. We'll have to troubleshoot that after the show.
All right, very
I feel
good.
like I'm
get some of
By
our
the way,
guest people on that.
isn't it
Raise your right hand,
crazy
your left hand.
that you said all the craziness of the weekend and you bring up the Patriots?
Yeah.
as
Well,
the
that was
craziest-
just one example.
No, but I'm saying like that's the standout thing, despite the biggest comeback ever.
That was
Ever.
2 days ago.
And
I know, it seems like so long
Yeah,
ago.
it's
Tom
ancient
Brady
history.
losing a 17-point lead at home for the first time in 90 games.
Yeah, but Tom, there's a lot of firsts this year on Tom. This was yesterday.
But that's what I'm saying. All these crazy things happened.
Right,
It's just
but-
bonkers.
Sunday was the first time he had thrown for 2 touchdowns in a half this year. That used
Right.
to be standard protocol for
Yeah.
Brady. Every half he would throw for 2 touchdowns.
Come on now, he old.
Yesterday
Crazy.
was the first time he did it
How old is Tom?
this
He's
year.
old
He's
now.
44, 45.
44.
How old's Brady?
Come on now.
44?
You know, he got a lot of work to put in behind the scenes, too.
What was crazy is Tony Romo was anointing the Buccaneers at halftime
back.
as the team to watch now in the entire
were right
NFL.
here. They
And they
were
came
right.
out and got outscored 31-0 in the second half before the late add-on touchdown. Okay. You have a reader to do, right, on the Browns coverage?
I do.
Browns
Whenever
talk?
we talk Browns now, it's brought to us by our very good friends at Tri-C Community College. Guys, if you don't know about Tri-C, you got to check them out. They are phenomenal. And our Browns Talk is sponsored by Cuyahoga Community College. Tri-C supports students financially, professionally, and personally, and they open up the doors of endless possibilities. Tri-C, it's where the future starts, and it begins on January 17th, 2023. That's when classes are open. Check them out. Sign up. Cuyahoga Community College, our good friends.
Okay, you're kind of
Cuyahoga.
bodging that name.
Cuyahoga.
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 Wait, I got to my left, he's saying Hoga, Anthony's saying Haga.
That's a long-running debate.
Only people from Parma say Haga.
I say
Cuyahoga.
Haga.
You say Haga?
I say Cuyahoga.
Yeah, so
Cuyahoga
we
County.
did a whole deep dive on this at Channel 3. Neither
We'll do
is
an overtime
wrong.
segment
Right.
this week. Which,
But
by
the
way, you gotta
majority of
remember,
people say Cuyahoga.
It tends to be when we did a very informal poll of our
Yeah.
newsroom. More people say Cuyahoga
Yeah.
than Cuyahoga, but neither is wrong. Is what we've
Jason's
been
an odd
told.
duck.
We
Let's be
would,
honest.
we would,
Hog's right in the middle of the word.
I mean, we would need to.
Well,
we would have to
I'm
poll
with Jason.
the Native American people to come tell
That's
us
true.
Yeah.
what they thought about that word. But
Yeah.
we sent KMC to find them. They're,
they're on a reservation in Oklahoma City
we
somewhere,
displaced all
wherever
of
we
those
pushed them
guys,
off to.
so, yeah.
Okay,
Happy holidays.
so we'll dive in and we'll go round table, and Bull, we'll
Yeah.
start with you.
Yeah.
We hate to do this because
Yeah.
it's a win, and we don't want to be overly negative,
Right.
but the facts are what they are. And I want
Yeah.
I want to start by just your overarching thoughts on the game. We'll move to Deshaun Watson after we go round table, but
Yeah.
what do you make of this 13-3 win?
I thought it was a really positive win. I thought that, we talked about last week, this team has 4 weeks to kind of show you what they're made of. Are they going to play hard down the stretch, or are they going to completely crater? And clearly, at least for 1 week, and I will suspect the rest of the season, they will not crater. It wasn't a perfect game by any means, but I thought they played with a lot of toughness. They, again, could not stop the run. I didn't know what what Harbaugh was doing. I don't know why they...
Well, it was on it's on their offensive coordinator, not on Harbaugh. He threw the ball 30 times.
I thought we always blame Stefanski when they don't make changes.
Well, Harbaugh isn't calling the offensive plays.
Okay, but when the defense is bad, we sometimes blame Stefanski.
Well, no, it's all under the head coach.
But ultimately,
But I mean-
Harbaugh's got to say, why are we not running the ball on every play?
That is fair.
Tyler Huntley did not, and he's been okay at times, but he didn't even look like an NFL
He
quarterback
threw
in
it
this game.
30 times.
He was horrible. And their top 2 backs, Gus Edwards and
Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, averaged 9 yards a carry between them.
I can't figure it out.
So now, in the red zone, the Browns defense toughened up. And the secondary played well. I thought it was Denzel Ward's best game of the year. That pick he had was a fantastic play.
Changed the
and
game.
And it changed the game, and he almost had another one. The missed field goals, especially by Justin Tucker, were mind-blowing. The offense did what it had to do. Nick Chubb couldn't get much going until late, and they, obviously they had the lead, so they ran a lot late in the game. And he did what he had to do. And I thought, even though if you just look at the stats and you see Watson's numbers, you're like, eh. But if you watch the game, I thought it was a clear another step forward for Watson. Still not where you want him to be, but he did. It was the first game where he didn't have any turnovers. There weren't any clear missed opportunities. I think every week he's making less and less mistakes and playing better.
Brad?
I mean, I don't make much of it. I mean, you're playing a team that wasn't up to its full capacity. But the thing I look for is this, Jay. I want to see them get better. I want to see Watson get better. I want to see him get better weekly, and that's occurring. I want to see what happens now. They went to a traditional fullback set with the tackle leading the way.
Right.
And it was good to see that we can do two things at once. We can have Watson in the backfield. He can get under center. We can run Chubb, and we can throw the ball. And one of the things that I'm enamored with is the lack of pressure that we get up front defensively in the middle. I'm watching J.K. Dobbins, Ohio State guy, run wild here. I mean, he's just running wild. And this has been consistently the theme all season long.
Jay?
I thought John Johnson played really well. He had a huge fourth down hit on that.
Is that the
opening
best
drive.
he's looked as a Brown?
I think so.
I can't remember him looking any better.
I mean, he filled the gap, and I forget the fullback's name, the 4th and 1 play that they ran. He met him in the hole and stopped the play.
Again, a game-changing play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Game-changing play.
I am concerned, only one touchdown again from the offense. I agree. Deshaun had 2 plays where I thought, okay, that's Deshaun. And one was a pass and one was a run.
Yeah.
And you could see it coming. And I don't care what the roulette wheel says, they're out of the playoff chase. So it's okay that it's taking a little bit of time. But it is concerning to me. 1 touchdown last week, 1 touchdown this week. Now, they played 2 really good defenses. Cincinnati and Baltimore are both really good.
They are.
Defensively. But you got to score more than 1 touchdown. And eventually they got to start getting 6s out of this. But overall, I don't know how you can complain. You know, give Joe Woods his credit, right? Like, I don't think it's enough to save his job. But for 1 week, to hold that team to 3 points, I know they were without Lamar.
Yeah.
But that's not an excuse, by the way. They won the last 2 games without Lamar.
But that's what I'm saying.
Every team's got injuries.
They're still an NFL team with NFL talent, and I don't care who the quarterback is. You hold them out of the end zone, that's a hell of a job.
Sure.
And I actually thought Perrion Winfrey played well, actually.
He did.
He did.
And if he could, like, grow up a little bit, keep his mouth shut and grow up a little bit, I think he can. I'm not saying he's going to be a star, but we've been screaming about the tackles all year. And I was talking to some guys in the locker room, like, can he play? And they're like, yeah, you know, we don't want to go over the top because we have to see it. But, yeah, there's something there to where I think he could help this team as we talk about they have to remake their defensive tackles. I think there's a spot for him, but he's got to grow up and mature.
Sure.
By the way, I mentioned this in our post-game show. We often criticize Kevin Stefanski and the Browns fairly for it seems like nobody's held accountable. But in Perrion Winfrey's case, he was. Remember, they benched him for a few weeks. They had him inactive because they didn't like, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. But they benched him, and since he's been back, he's played much better.
Yeah, that's a separate issue. We can talk about that more later. But it's not like they took a name player who was also making huge mistakes on the field. They took a guy who's a rookie who was not overperforming. Easy to sit him down.
Yeah, I mean, are other teams benching good starters, proven players that are
Well, I
struggling?
wouldn't even call him a proven player.
No. I'm saying, who is it that you want them to bench? Denzel Ward?
There were times this year where I think you could make a case for sitting down just about everybody on the defense except Myles Garrett. Now,
Right, I mean,
that's off topic, but
go ahead.
Bush, give us your thoughts. Like, impressive, not impressive, where are you?
Well, I thought, like Brad said, I just want to see a progression, right? I want to see you get better. I thought there was no throws where your last couple games you could have said, okay, Deshaun Watson missed the guy right there. Or, okay, Deshaun Watson is scrambling around in the pocket when he didn't need to. But this game, I'll tell you what, like he just hit all the passes that was there available to him. One thing did stand out to me, though. I've been saying it. This is not the offense that you're going to see or hopefully you should be seeing moving forward because they're going to have to upgrade some concepts. Like, you know, some of these concepts that they're running, I'm going to watch the all 22 and look at them, but it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of complicated routes downfield.
He can't go downfield.
Yeah.
No.
He can't go downfield. I mean, and it's not.
It's
not
all
just
underneath
You
stuff.
don't have any playmaker, right?
Right.
So how you gonna loosen up the stuff in the middle if you can't go deep?
I don't think he's ready to go deep either because his ADOT, his average depth of target in the first half,
Like
3.5 yards.
Yeah.
3.5 yards.
Is that by design?
Yes.
I feel that's by design.
Absolutely.
It's Kevin Stefanski putting training wheels on him
Yeah.
to
And-
gradually bring him back.
and
And the
defensively,
offensive line struggling.
And defensively, they know it. Like
Yeah.
they're covering the flats. They're playing the
Sure.
flats because
Yeah,
they know
that-
that's
But
what
he's
they're
still
doing.
having success, which is impressive because they know he's not throwing deep. They know that.
That throw he made to Michael Woods. Remember that throw he threw between somebody's arms?
yes.
Like that was a special
He
throw.
threw that one. I thought he threw one to Donovan Peoples-Jones, which was a nice throw. But there's going to need – my question is this. What does this offense look like? Because in the offseason, they're going to have to go in and they're going to have to make massive changes.
some surgery.
One of the changes that happens is the offensive line is not conditioned to be like, okay, 5-step drop, 7-step drop. You can tell it's play action. When you run play action, you don't really have any blitzers. It's because the linebackers have to respect the run. So you're not pass blocking for all that great of time. Now when you got to do it in shotgun, you now have to be on it because they know it's pass. You know it's pass.
Right.
Who's better? And
But
so
they got the whole offseason to work on it.
yes, they do have the whole offseason to work on it. I want to see if Kevin Stefanski is going to adapt to it. I want to see some, and plus I need another. I've been saying it.
Yeah, weapons.
You need some speed, guys, man. You need, because it just seems like everything the Browns do is in the phone booth. It's like,
Well, they have Anthony Schwartz, but he's proven not to be a factor in the
No,
offense.
they're going to.
So the guy that they drafted to be the speed guy is not the answer. He's not the guy that's going to take the lid off defenses.
I can't count on him.
No.
I can't. And he gets hit, and he's a little fragile. He could be in a protocol.
Yeah, they got to add another receiver.
We got to get
themselves.
another
No
receiver.
doubt.
But and overall, good.
I made some notes. I think overall, I'm with you. Was it great? No. Was it horrible? No. It was good. I thought Harbaugh, this is one of the worst games I remember him coaching collectively and his staff. Greg Roman, I don't know what in the world he was thinking. It reminded me of some of the Browns being dug in on concepts that weren't working and you knew they weren't working in the moment, but you just kept going to them. Why he would throw the ball 30 times.
With Huntley, it's crazy.
And
It was never more than really a one-score game. I mean, it was always a close game.
Yeah, I mean, the last 5-6 minutes, they're down 10.
Okay, you got to throw there.
But you know what? Again, their two top backs were averaging 9 yards
Bull.
per carry. I don't know.
They had 200 yards rushing.
I know. Yep.
This Browns defense gets an F on the run defense yesterday, on Saturday.
Yeah.
If you're going to grade them out, it's an F because they were getting gashed on every running play. Yet somehow, Greg Roman, under the direction of John Harbaugh, who could, just like we've always said, the head coach has it's his obligation to step up and say, guys, what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
Why are we throwing the football 30 times when our run game is working for 200 yards?
Right.
So for me, my overarching takeaway was this was the worst coached game in the Browns-Ravens history ever, I think, because he's always done very well coaching these games. I've never seen a Harbaugh coach team look this bad.
he looked perplexed.
And also on the Watson front, we talk about wanting to see progression. We thought he was awful. We graded him between a D and an F in Houston. We thought he was a B- in Cincinnati. I think he was an A- on Saturday. And what's interesting about that is I went and looked up the QBRs.
Yeah.
And the QBRs are exactly what we gave him grade-wise. QBR Houston, 53.
Right.
That's an F. That's what we gave him. We gave him a B- for Cincinnati. Quarterback rating 79.
Right there.
He was a 91 on Saturday.
I still give him a
But
B,
that's
not
at a
an A-
158
for me.
though, Jay.
But a 91 is an A-. What's that?
That's at a 158, not 100.
I know it is. I know it
Yeah.
is. But I'm not grading it out of 100. I'm just saying that even though I'm not doing it like on a regular scale where 90 to 100 is an A on the QBR, I'm grading it on a curve. Like
Yeah, he has
in the
gone up.
NFL, if your quarterback rating is 100, that's an A. Even though I know it's out of 158, like that's a good game. That's a really good game. You're going to win more of those games than you lose.
So you said you give him an A-?
I give him an A-
I
for
give him-
yesterday.
I don't
I'm
go that
curious
high.
because we talked about this in the show, Bull, and I'll let you start with it.
Go
For
ahead.
what we asked him to do, he handled the tasks. You mentioned the run. That was, to me, that was the moment of the 3 games where I've said,
There it is.
okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
There was a play early fourth quarter where he drops back and Baltimore brings pressure, but I think they sent 5. So it was a little pressure, but not a ton. And he read it immediately. Drops back, stops, and takes off, and picks up 17.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it.
That's what he could.
That's the play.
Yes.
I thought, guys, that you saw him. Maybe it's because he was at home for the first time. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just because it's his third game. his body language was better in the. He
Particularly
seemed
on one
confident.
drive in the third quarter,
And when
it looked like, okay, now we've got a rhythm
We
going.
need him to be cocky. That's part of his game. He
yeah.
needs to be cocky out there.
To Bull's point, you started to see he's in command now.
Yes.
He started the game
Yes.
slowing down.
Right.
Starting to see exactly. He knows what to do. He knows how to play.
Collectively,
right?
though.
So now I'm starting to see. Okay, I got this guy. I
The
give you a case
numbers,
in point
though,
when he
collectively.
I give you a piece when he found Njoku on the sideline. He rolled out a little bit.
Yes.
He's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop it here. I'm gonna drop it over here to Cooper. I'm gonna drop it to DPJ. You don't know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, I think that's a misleading stat. It has been inaccurate on just 13.6% of his targets. I mean, the accuracy rate is on a complete. To me, it's a completion rate. Now I know that there are drops that factor into that, but some other numbers to put his.
They're saying that's phenomenal. It's the second best in the league. They're saying.
I know they are.
Yeah.
And I thought for the last game, I thought he was more accurate. But
Yeah.
even
But
against
that doesn't
Cincinnati, he was still throwing the ball, I thought, at guys' feet.
But also, that doesn't account for throws that you miss, like guys open and you miss it.
Right, it doesn't.
So,
yeah.
Which plays to his not his accuracy, but his overall performance. But I give him a B for this game because I think I don't even think it's so funny because he played better, but that game is not even close to what I'm ultimately expecting.
You can't give him an A when you got one touchdown. You got one
Yeah,
touchdown.
yeah.
That's
Right.
not an A performance.
Here's my problem with it and it's what they're asking him to do, so that's how you got to grade him. But I want to see more downfield throws for sure. What he's doing now is remedial quarterback stuff. Like he better be better. Like when you look at his numbers in total, 3 games now, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Right.
Horrible.
Who are you going downfield to?
Completion percentage, 60%. Lowest of his career by far. Now, I know it's a very small sample size and he took 700 days off, but that's nowhere near where we last saw him. When we last saw him, he was completing over 70% of his passes.
But that was on top of his
and he's averaging 185 completion yards in the 3 games.
No, here. 700, you cannot discount the 700 days off. And I would tell you, you say go downfield. Who you going downfield to?
Well, we're not saying 50 yards.
I'm saying 50.
How about 20?
I said,
Guys,
Amari Cooper,
let's
David
not make it seem like the Browns don't have good receivers.
Right.
No.
They
we're
have
not
2
saying-
good
we're not saying
receivers,
there's
and they have a top tight end.
Here. We're not saying that.
Let's
saying that.
Let's quantify what good is.
Right.
Good has nothing to do with skill set. You could be a good receiver but not have a certain skill set.
Right.
You could be a great shooter from the 3-point line but be terrible at free throws.
Right.
It's a levels to it. What we're saying is he ain't got, when you look at the level of separation, Donovan Peoples-Jones ain't beating nobody deep. It's the reason he has 1 touchdown. 2 now.
Well, to Jason's point, though, we're not talking 50 yards. How about 20? How about the intermediate routes, which is
I think it's one step at a time.
They have guys more than capable enough to throw the ball 20, 25 yards down.
Yeah.
Well, we saw
and these
Brissett
guys
do it.
get and
Brissett completed
Amari
some balls
Cooper and
downfield.
DPJ can get open 20, 25.
Absolutely.
And some of getting open, G, is the scheme.
Yes.
It's not just about beating a guy with speed only.
I said I don't like some of the route combinations.
Yeah.
For me, this is going to be the biggest job Kevin Stefanski has ever had in his life, because he's going to go into next year, right? Right now, what we've seen in 3 games ain't what it is. Like, that's not it. And what I've said before is, what the Browns run, I'm not going to say it is JV, but it is basic as hell. It ain't nothing rub. Let me cross over here, but come back and motion. And you watch the Dolphins play, you're like, dang, what kind of routes is they running?
No flavor.
He's running bootlegs. Don't nobody run no bootlegs no more. Who runs boots? But that was his bread and butter for a whole year and a half. So now he's going to have to stretch his thought process and creativity to say, well, let me see what the best I can do. Sometimes you do great things with people that are medium, but it takes more involvement when you get higher level people.
Yeah,
Jay,
and he has had average to below average quarterbacks, and so he hasn't been
His
able to
entire
be over the
career.
career.
Yeah, so
now he's got the whole off season
to be cool,
to get it where it should be
From
for
the
next year.
post-game discussions and other interview sessions that you've seen with Stefanski, it's clear there's training that he is rolling out this offense in small bits for Deshaun Watson. At what point, I want to see him take the reins off this year, because this year doesn't matter. I want to see him try things that he's going to be instituting next year. To your point, it's going to look different. These 3 games are trial games. They're experimental games in my view, because the season's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm with you 100%. I wish that it was actually a 0.0, so we could say what it is and just go out there and say, okay, now let's just get funky.
And realistically,
see what we can do.
I don't think anybody in the locker room really thinks
Right,
it's-
I don't think so, but the fact that there is a chance, it
Well, what's
fools
the
fans.
difference?
Well, it just
You're still trying to win. You want to win the
you're
game.
trying to win, but what I want is at this point, it's all about getting the offense to where we need it to be next year. I'm looking at these 3 games as preseason games. They mean nothing.
Right.
But I want to see. I don't want to see him with training wheels on for 6 weeks.
Jay, to your point.
That does nothing.
Jay, to your point, these 3 games are simply this. Let me see what I have.
Exactly.
Right? So that means I throw all caution to the wind, and I'm gonna see what I have here, right?
Open it up.
Because I'm in the offseason have to make some decisions here, right? If I'm gonna really get better, we know there's certain flaws on this team. They have to be filled. They have to be corrected.
Right.
Right. And then I have to see what this guy that I gave $230 million. What is he capable of? Now he may not be capable of what he's gonna be able to do next August. But
let's get his feet
I
wet.
got to get going here. Right?
Let's go.
We've had 3 weeks now.
Enough
with
of the
this.
training
Right.
wheels is my point.
Okay, but I think that they try to be aggressive in week 1, and you saw how that went. So now
Yeah,
they
yeah.
pulled it out, and now we've seen a progression. And here's one small thing, but we don't see the extra offensive lineman as an eligible receiver. You know, they're moving away from the jumbo stuff. It's small, but it's actually really significant because how many times did you hear 68's an eligible receiver, 68's an eligible?
God.
You know,
Because
tight
they
end sets.
needed that.
Dunn was getting
And-
6 snaps a game.
and they're getting away from
Hey
that.
Jay, you know what I was really looking forward to this year? At some point, seeing Watson, Chubb, and Hunt.
I don't know.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I don't know what you're gonna see
I
there.
guess I'm not going to see it. Huh?
No, you're not.
I'm not going to see
And
it.
also, another thing you got to keep in mind in all this is the protection. And we've said the protection just isn't the same this year. And so you certainly don't want to expose him to an
No,
unnecessary
you're right.
risk.
You're right. You're right.
At this point, when we're all said,
Right.
it's all about next year. We've talked about it. Jack Conklin's probably not going to be back. I think Teller's still fighting the calf. He hasn't looked the same. And you know, Jed Wills, it is what it is over there. So they've got some decisions to make along the offensive line, but that can't come until the offseason. I'm not saying you can't do anything, but you have to be careful about how you protect
I'm
him.
going to throw a slider to you. Here's a slider coming your way. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Do you shut him down at some point?
No.
Who?
Absolutely
Watson?
not. Absolutely not.
2 games left, 1 game left.
No.
You shut him down?
No.
Well, the lot here, and I say this from this
You
standpoint.
can't think about injury.
Well,
you can't.
See, but he just brought that up.
But
I know.
He just brought that up.
It does factor into the equation.
right, you
But
can't.
he
you
needs
can't
reps
shut
more than
him
they have to
down
fear
because
injury.
You fear injury, but you have to be smart in how you protect
Let me
him.
tell you
Yeah.
this. The only reason, I'm going to be honest with you, I was down there doing the pregame, and the only reason them people is in that stadium is because of Deshaun
Right, you want to
Watson.
see what
That is it. There's no reason they're there. They've been very vocal about it.
We're gonna see that this Saturday too.
Saturday's crowd's gonna
single
be
digits
thin.
and wind near 50 miles an hour. It's gonna be who shows
Wind
up to see
chill's going to
Watson
be
play.
below 0.
I'm actually going to take my son to his first game. I'm not covering
I'm
it.
going
Good
as
luck,
well.
man.
I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Good luck, my
Yeah,
friend.
I'm going
I'll
to take him.
be staying nice
Call
and
me,
warm.
He's a dirty
call me.
dude.
Let me
Dirty
know if
for
it's
that.
chilly.
But no, he's never
Hey,
been.
Jay,
He's
It's
12.
It's a great way to indoctrinate him to play good football.
Jay.
Earn the right.
Yeah, you're
I've
right.
never had the chance to take him because I'm always covering these.
Earn the
these
right.
things.
I tell Jason to call me. Let me know if it's chilly down there.
Oh,
By the way, we had a conversation before the season, and you think about it now how dumb this was. I don't know if any of us said this, but there was a conversation generally about would the Browns be better off if Deshaun Watson missed the whole season so the contract would toll? That would have been a disaster had that
That would have
happened
been a disaster.
because he needed to play these 6 games to be in game action. That is going to help. Can you imagine
Well,
if he had missed
yeah,
the whole
but
season?
Bull, there's still going to be 8 months between meaningful snaps.
Yeah, but at
So
least
he's going to
he
go back
played.
into mothballs.
But it's going to be
Let's
a
ask Tim
normal
Couch- let's ask
offseason
Tim
for
Couch
him.
what he
Yeah,